Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Nonprofit Nugget with DrDebra. I am DrDebra Dunston, and I will be giving you just a little something to chew on. Something to chew on. Um, I was having a little technical difficulties before I got on here. I was a second or two late, but I am here. I am here, and I do have a message for you today. As you guys know, I am a nonprofit strategist and funding coach, and I help visionaries to not only launch their nonprofit correctly, but I help them to get in position so that they can attract the funds and the support so that they can keep their vision going, so that they can then get funding ready and become a profitable nonprofit. I know that sounds like a misnomer, or what is that? But the thing is, you can be a profitable nonprofit. And by becoming a profitable nonprofit, you become sustainable so that you can serve even more people. You can broaden your vision and you can do the work that you love to do. So that's what I do at DrDebra Nonprofit Solutions. And also with my nonprofit Healing and Empowerment Ministries, we have a program called the Community Outreach Empowerment Program, where we help faith-based organizations get in position to have their outreach funded, by starting a 501c3 nonprofit and running it alongside of your ministry, which is what I've done with Healing and Empowerment Ministry. So today, on this show, what I like to do is to focus on the questions I get during classes I have. People email me. Hello, Betty Span. How you doing? Oh, it's so good to see you here. Wow, a long time friend. Thank you for joining, Betty. Thank you so much. What I do, I take the questions that you guys send me through my inbox, through my email, in response to my classes. Great. I'm glad to know you're doing well. So am I. I'm doing well. But I take those questions and I address one every week. And many of you know that I teach hey, Brenda Booker Bull, the real estate agent who is all heart and no bull. Thank you. Thank you. I've been shouting your praises. Me and God have been having a good time talking about you, Brenda Booker Bull. We sure have. And so you guys know that I teach a class. Many of you know I teach a class called How to Get Funding Ready. That's coming again next month. I'll be teaching it once a month. But how to get funding ready. And one of the things that we talk about in the Funding Ready class is to let them find you doing the work. I also have a nonprofit diagnostic that's called Are You Funding Ready? It's a coaching program one-on-one where we meet for an extended period of time. Well, just for that one session, but it takes about 90 minutes to get through the whole thing. But we go through a diagnostic, like you take your car in for a diagnostic, and Are You Funding Ready diagnostic for your nonprofit. And we go down the list and we check off things and make sure you have things together so that you can be funding ready. But in this class and in the diagnostic, one of the things I share is let them find you doing the work. Let the funders find you doing the work. Let them oops up on you doing the work. Let them find you, do the work, and the money will follow. So I say, let them find you doing the work. But a lot of people come back and say, how can I do the work without the funding? That's what I need the funding for. I wouldn't be asking for funding if I wasn't trying to do the work, if I wasn't trying to serve in my community, if I wasn't trying to address the issue we're having in the community. If I had the funding, I would do it. But I want to tell you, as a funding, I spent 37 plus years in the nonprofit industry, actually working on both sides of the spectrum, where I was the director of development and raising funds. But also I've sat in many positions where I was not only responsible for raising the funds, but actually giving the funds away. And I found that giving the funds away was one of the hardest things I had ever done. And so I found myself in a position seeing all these great proposals coming through, greatly written proposals, but the organization just wasn't funding ready. It just wasn't time. There was no proof in the pudding. I had nothing to go on. So therefore, I couldn't give the money. Great vision, but I could not fund them because they weren't funding ready. So I knew that this is the work I was going to be doing. People say, are you a grant writer? Sure, I'm an award-winning grant writer. But I feel that my calling is to stand in the position of equipping others for doing the work. Equipping others for doing the work, besides running my own nonprofit, but to turn around and equip others. And so I say, think about it this way. When I say, let them find you doing the work. Remember, when your proposal comes to a funder's desk, I'm looking at myself, when it comes to our desk, many times we haven't even heard of you. The funder haven't even heard of you, especially if you are a fairly new nonprofit. We have not heard of you. And so imagine someone just walking up to you on the street one day and just saying to you, hey, can you give me $10,000 or sometimes $50,000 and I not pay you back? I have such a great idea and I think it's going to do some good. If you had that money, would you just hand it over to them? Be honest with yourself. Would you just hand it over to them? A lot of us, I'm raising my hand too, wouldn't even hand that over to our kids if they didn't have a good plan, if they hadn't showed proof of concept or showed us something. Mama, can you give me $10,000? I sure have a good plan. What you gonna do, baby? Well, I don't really know yet, but here I wrote it all down. You know how to do all that? No, not yet, but you give me some money, I'll do it. No, we probably would not give our child that. And that's somebody we love. So think about it from the funder's point of view. So what I do through DrDebra Nonprofit Solutions, getting people funding ready, is I share some of the funder secrets. I sat in the boardroom with the funders and we talk to each other, y'all. We talk to each other. So don't think we don't talk to each other. We talk to the government who's giving funding. We all talk to each other about the nonprofits that we're looking at, the proposals that we're looking at. And so I'm giving you some of the funder secrets. Shh, don't tell them. I'm giving away our secrets. And so one of the things they do look for is that they want to see a nonprofit who is doing the work. And so think about it. You're showing proof of concept. You're showing that what you plan works. You're showing you can get somebody to write you a dynamite proposal, but if you can't back that thing up, that's just a beautiful document until you come up to meet that document. That's like having somebody write you a dynamite resume and you get up in the interview and you show up in some booty shorts and a t-shirt. Well, it all depends on what kind of interview you're going to. But, you show up in something inappropriate and like, yeah, you got jobs up in here. You got jobs up in here. Hey, guy, woo, you got jobs up in here. Whatever. Your resume goes before you. Your proposal comes before us. We're expecting a certain thing and we're asking certain questions in there. And if you haven't answered our questions, if you haven't given what we need, if you don't have any proof of concept, your history of doing the work, your organizational background for doing this work, we need to see you. The best way to do that is let us find you doing the work. I have even, believe me, I have even seen visionaries receive funding, and I have some of them are my clients. Yay, clients. And you guys know who you are if you're listening to this. I have had clients receive funding that they weren't even seeking, simply because somebody found them already doing the work. Simply because they were already doing the work. And a couple of them, believe it or not, were not even 501c3 nonprofits. They weren't. We had to scramble to get those 501c3s, to get them in position so they can receive it. That's one of the first things I say. Do you have your 501c3? But at least they were doing such great work that somebody saw something in them and said, I'm going to invest in this organization. This organization out there doing work. They doing work and they're not even an organization. And y'all know who y'all are. They were just doing the work, minding their business, doing the work. It was in their heart and they were just doing the work. And all of a sudden funding just came to them, sought them out. I've even had healing and empowerment ministry be sought out for funding because I try to always be out there doing the work. But because of the position I held, I could not receive the funding because it would have been a conflict of interest for the job that I had at the time. But yeah, let them find you doing the work. So good question. How can I do the work? I'm going to give you a few ways here that you can actually do the work at little or no cost, with little or no funding. So I didn't share like the plethora, because there's a plethora of ideas I can come up with after doing this for so long. But one of the ones, and the one that I use mostly with Healing and Empowerment Ministries, is spend some time volunteering with an organization that serves the same target audience that you want to serve. Isn't that something? And kind of do the same thing, kind of, just like you have symbiotic relationships. Spend some time just volunteering. One of the things I do, I speak at other organizations for free as a pastoral psychotherapist and healing and deliverance coach. I would go over and speak at events that are about domestic violence, trauma healing, child abuse, human trafficking. Those are all things that I cover in my nonprofit. I do trauma healing. So I would speak at those kind of events on behalf of my nonprofit. So my nonprofit is doing the work. It is volunteering. It is partnering with organizations. I would go in and speak. Many times I would donate to organizations. I would partner with them to raise money for food. So you can do, that's one of the things. And that's something you actually can put when they ask you, what's your history of doing this work? That counts. You're partnering with other organizations and going to volunteer at other organizations count on your proposal. When we come to you and say, well, give me your history of doing this work, you can say, oh, I volunteer with ABC organization, or no, I partner. I'll tell you about some funding language. Oh, I partnered with ABC organization. I went over and I do speaking engagements for other organizations to raise awareness on child abuse. See how that goes? So your organization will be already doing the work, and it didn't cost you anything but some time of volunteering. Another thing is you can do a food drive. If you're doing anything connected to homeless, the underprivileged, the at-risk community, any of that, whatever you want to call it, one great thing is you can collect food. You can have people, you can go out and you collect food. You can have people bring you. That don't have to cost you anything. Yes, you can partner with alternative schools. Yes, you can. You can do that. If you find an alternative school that you want to partner with and they want to partner with you, you sure can. That's a good way. Even before the funding comes in, so that when the funding does come in, you're the first thing they think about. You want to be the first one they think about. I saw Keith and James and his organization over there partnering with this alternative school, and they weren't even getting funding. You know how that make you look? Great. That makes you look great in a funder's eyes. Believe me, as a funder, I can tell you that. You can, like I said, you can do a food, you can partner, you can do a food drive, you can do a clothes drive. You know how many people get clothes? I mean, I'm doing spring cleaning now. You know how many people have clothes that you can be the one who collect them? I even saw people, oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Minister Darlene Green. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, Keith, and thank you for joining. Yes, you can do a food drive. You can do a clothes drive. You can partner with another organization. This stuff doesn't cost money. Great. So, Keith, when you get ready to do your 501c3, now I would need to know the organization and if they go for grants. If they go for grants, then they could write you in, even if you're not a 501c3, because you'll be under their 501c3. Your money would come to them and you will be written in on the grant. As long as you're a legal business, you can be written in on the grant, because that's a MOU, a memorandum of understanding and partnership. So they would receive the money if they are a 501c3. So see how he's coming up with ways? You're doing a shoe drive now? See, that's one of the ways. All of that stuff goes to your credibility. When you write your proposal, and a funder, me as a funder, if I come to you and I say, well, what have you been doing? Then you can tell me those things. That moves you up the bar towards funding. That moves you up the bar. And see, that doesn't have to cost you anything. That's other people's shoes you collecting. It costs them when they Okay, it's an alternative school. Okay, great, great. I don't know what there's, if they get grants or anything. I'm not even sure if they're for-profit, nonprofit. I'm not sure if they're, but um, so we can partner with other organizations like Keith and James is doing. He don't even have his 501c3 yet, and he already doing the work. You can you can do a food drive, a clothes drive, a shoes drive. You can offer free workshops, especially virtual ones. With 2 of them, wow, you really on the move. You can even, especially virtual workshops. Zoom is free up to a certain amount. You can offer a workshop to teach something. Let it align with your vision, though. Stay in your vision because you want it to make sense on your proposal. You don't want to be all over the place. You don't want to be all over the place because there's a means. There's an end to the means. You have a goal. So make sure it aligns so you can teach something in a workshop. You can hold a support group in a workshop, like I have. Get free trauma healing. I used to hold it in virtual. I think we will go back to virtual, but now I hold it here in my home locally once a month. I have a group of women that meet and we do fellowship together. You can do things like that, and all that costs us. I just have everybody bring a potluck. I provide some food. You can do something like that. Like I said, little or no money, you can already be doing the work. And I can say I have monthly healing sessions, monthly trauma healing sessions. Look how easy that is. You can do an education and awareness campaign. We on social media anyway. Why not start posting stuff about what your nonprofit is about? Informational stuff. I don't mean just posting to show your nonprofit. I mean posting stuff about what your nonprofit is about. Raising the awareness on child abuse, raising awareness about children in alternative schools, raising awareness. You can raise awareness. Advocacy, awareness, and education is a program, people. It's a program that can be funded. Start raising awareness. If that's the only piece you do, you can do that part. Thank you, Melton, for joining. You can just do that part. I feel that's one of the easiest one to do, because if you really care about what you're starting the nonprofit about, what your mission is, you want to raise awareness on it. Like mine is trauma, how trauma affects kids in school. I was a school teacher, as you know, Melton. I was a school teacher at St. Francis Xavier, and I taught in primary grades from pre-K through, I've taught from pre-K through 2nd grade, but my main room was kindergarten when I was at St. Francis. But you see how trauma can affect kids. And even though we do standardized testing, the things that now they do have trauma sensitive teaching. In my program, the Me and You Too program, addresses the needs of the child and the parent, which is why it's called Me and You Too. It's a literacy based program that helped to do school readiness for kids, but it used trauma sensitive approaches to helping kids get using books to build parent-child relationships. I do parent training and coaching, parent workshops, those kind of things. Now I raise awareness. I have an awareness campaigns on the gap, the academic achievement gap in low-income minority kids, the school readiness gap in low-income minority kids. Many people aren't aware of that. Statistics show that low-income minority kids actually enter school with 40,000 less words. Or no, 30,000 less words. And by kindergarten, it advances to 40,000 less words. And that over 50%, if you do nationwide, of low-income minority kids, by the time they get ready to leave the 3rd grade, they're not reading on level. And so reading after that point is used for everything. So, and that actually, you can look at those scores and see that those kids, many of those kids do not graduate from high school. So it is very important. So I raise awareness on that. You can do an awareness campaign, people. That doesn't cost anything but gabbing your mouth and writing some stuff and posting some stuff on the internet. That's called an advocacy and awareness campaign. You can create an ebook and circulate it for free. You can create an ebook. I did a report called Are Toxic Emotions Poisoning Your Life? And I circulated it for free. That's advocacy. That's awareness. Are toxic emotions poisoning your life? Telling how our emotions can actually affect us, both physically, mentally, spiritually. You can do something like that. That's easy. You can even create that in a Word document and then save it as a PDF. You can do it in PowerPoint and save it as a PDF. You know, now, shoot, I'd use Canva. Now, won't lie, I'd use Canva. You can create it in Canva and offer it for free. Offer information. That's education and awareness. That counts. You can host a fun event in the park. You know, most recreation departments, you can rent the park. We used to do it just for our kids' birthday. Good afternoon, Jimmy Finch. I was talking about you, Jimmy. I was talking about you earlier. Yes, I was. Jimmy Finch, you guys, he's doing great work. Jimmy Finch is doing some really great work in Kentucky and Tennessee. And Jimmy Finch, now you read about me getting him funny ready. He's just raising the funds. He's just doing the work. He's a great example of someone who is letting them find him do the work. He's just doing the work from his heart. But I'm bringing him some money, and I'm going to bring him some money in for he's doing a lot of work. So you can host an event in the park. Remember how we take those pavilions and we have birthday parties over there? Why not have a birthday party for at-risk kids? Look at Jimmy say, I know. Why not have a birthday party as an event? Like bring some kids who need mentoring and still have a birthday party. Everybody's birthday party. We used to do that at church. I don't know if you remember that, Melton. Sharon, I bet you remember that. Betty, you probably remember that. Everybody's birthday party. You can do that for your nonprofit. It doesn't have to be a church that do these things. Some of the ideas I come up with, I got them from church. You can host a conversation at a restaurant. You guys, you can have a group of women, a group of men just meet at a restaurant, just like you would when you're just hanging out with the boys, but you can come with a purpose. A meal with a purpose. Everybody can even pay for their own. You remember? Yep. So everybody can even pay for their own food. Or maybe you can buy everybody buy all the appetizers on the table, and then people can purchase their own food. That's low cost. I'm thinking about doing that. I shouldn't have gave that one away. Invite like 10 women, and we can talk about how we heal from trauma. And then I just pay for all the appetizers. I just order all big appetizers and we all share. You can do something like that. That counts as a couch conversation. That does count on your proposal when you do a proposal to a funder. Holding conversations. It's very important to hold conversations. And you can also do something that earn income, but just make sure it aligns with your mission. So if you don't have the grant funding, find something that your nonprofit do that you can earn income. Yes, nonprofits can earn income. So find something that your nonprofit can do. Like I offer sliding scale healing coaching, trauma healing coaching. As a pastoral psychotherapist, I offer trauma healing sessions for those who have been through trauma of domestic violence, sexual trauma, human trafficking, or loss and grief, which can lead to depression. So you can do that. That's what I offer. And Healing and Empowerment Ministry has an earned income line. Kitchen with a mission. That's right, Jimmy Finch. Jimmy Finch is a kitchen with a mission. He has a emergency response kitchen that he just started this, just taking his grill. I think that's what you call it. Ain't that what that's called, that big grill? You guys know. And he just started taking it to disasters. Isn't that something? Didn't even have a 501c3. He just saw a need and sought to fulfill it just from his heart. Now he has the 501c3 in place. And now we getting ready to go to another level because he's building a mobile kitchen that he will now, a smoker. That's what it's called. Thanks, Jimmy. He took his smoker and just went and just fed people. Just went and fed people. not because people gave him money. That was out of the goodness of his heart. He and his business, he has his own business. They just went and just fed people because people were hungry. A disaster had come through, a tornado. And so that's what I'm talking about. Let funders find you. And he's not, I have some other clients who are just doing the work, whether they're doing it through earned income or they're just out there doing it. I had one client that was out there doing the work so much that a funder thought they were a nonprofit and actually approached them to get a grant. And we had to scramble to find them a fiscal sponsor who already had their 501c3 so that they can operate under them. That's what I was telling you about, Keithan. So that person acted as the fiscal sponsor. So the money came into them to filter down to the one who did not have their 501c3. So we quickly start putting things in place. But in the meantime, they got funded without even asking. The funder found them. They were just doing great work right here in Charlotte, just doing great work. And so there are so many different ways, just like I said, a plethora of ways that you can find yourself already doing the work, and funders will seek you out. Or if you seek a funder and they see that you weren't sitting around waiting on them to fund your vision, the vision that you said God called you for, when they see that you were not sitting around waiting on them to fund your vision, then that's when they feel better about, and you've shown them proof of concept. You come up the pile. Believe me, I've put piles and say, okay, these people are already doing it. I had piles of the not doing and piles of the doing. Like Jesus said, I'm going to separate the goat from the sheep. Who doing the work? Read Matthew 25. Matthew 25, I think, starting at verse 31. Who was doing the work? Who feeding them, clothing them, sheltering them? Who taking him in because he's homeless? Who's coming to visit him when he's sick? Who helping him when he's sick? When you do it unto these, the least of these, my brothers, you have done it unto me. You have done it unto me. So let them find you doing the work. I'm going to tell you from a funder's point of view. I'm telling you one of our secrets. We're looking for people already doing the work. Do that mean you can't get funding if you're not doing the work? No, it doesn't. We know some people can sneak by, but I'm telling you, it does move you further up on the scale. As a funder, when I've held those positions, those who were doing the work came over in this pile. Those who were waiting for me to get them the money to do their vision, I put over in another pile. I'm just being honest with you. And I'm not the only funder. That's the word. Yes, it is. That's what I built my business off of. I'm equipping people to go do the work. You hear me loud and clear. I don't know who Facebook user is, but yeah. And let me give you a hint. Those of you who I talk to and I say, well, what's your budget? Where you get your money from? We ain't got no budget. We don't have nothing. We just started. Let me tell you something. You have a major donor. You want to know who it is? You already have a major donor. That major donor is you. So stop saying that you don't have a funder. You do. You're your first fund. You should be. Because if you ain't going to fund your vision, the heck you looking at me for? You got to fund your vision first. If you don't believe in you, who going to believe in you? Who going to believe in you? So you do have a funder. When you write out your budget, on that line under donors, there should be some money. There should be some money. And you have to be, right, Jimmy? Right, Jimmy? When nobody else was given to healing and empowerment, you better believe I was. Because I believe in the vision. My vision at Healing and Empowerment is helping those who are dealing with the trauma and the impact of trauma experiences, help them to deal with the challenges, the emotional, the spiritual, and mental challenges of trauma. I believe in that so that they can live a more productive and sustainable life. That's what I do. Trauma can get us stuck. I help to get them free and help them to stay free. I believe in that. So I fund that for myself. But I'll let you in on a secret. A funder saw me doing the work. I didn't even know them. And now they want to give me some funding just for doing the work and just for showing up and being there for people. They will find you doing the work. Ask Jimmy Finch. He knows. If he had given me the right to tell his story, I would tell the story. But Jimmy Finch knows that when you're just doing the work, sometimes people show up in the masses. They show up in the masses, and now you're left. Oh, it's okay with you? It's me, it's you, it's us. Right. Better together. He said, I can go ahead and tell it. Jimmy Finch, when Jimmy Finch saw that there was a tornado in Kentucky, he took his smoker and took food. And I saw some other things because I read his story. He's one of my clients too. He took food and he went. God sent him and he went. He was told to go and he went, not knowing which he go. He didn't even, he went and just started feeding people. Got in the newspaper all the way over in, I forgot, it was someplace overseas. He was in a newspaper, on television. And guess what? Donations just start pouring in. And I saw on his GoFundMe, it says on there, Jimmy Finch asked me to close this fundraiser down. I was like, huh? But Jimmy Finch didn't even have his 501c3 yet. Brazil, right, Jimmy Finch, thank you. Absolutely. And Brazil even heard about him. That's how much good work he was doing. That's how much good work he was doing. And he had to close it down because Jimmy didn't even have his 501c3. We had to get him a nonprofit together. He had to go get one together. And now we're going backwards. We're getting him funding ready because people saw so much good in Jimmy and so much good in what he was doing. They knew that this was necessary. As an emergency response kitchen, y'all know we need that. That's why those funders funded him. And Jimmy Finch was able to raise, and wasn't even trying. He tripped up on some funding, wasn't even trying to raise $50,000. Wasn't even trying. All donor. And that can be done. I won an award for raising $29.5 million just from small and medium-sized donors. My team did. I just led the team, but $29.5 million in just donors. Our team won the New York Nonprofit Times Award for that. So just let them find you doing the work. Let them find you doing the work. And if you want to get some ideas on how you can do the work, how we can find some work that you can do that aligns with your mission. Like I said, you don't want to go off mission, but that aligns with your mission. And you would like to speak to me about it. I do offer a compliment. Yeah. 29.5 million right there in Washington, D.C. Sure did. And you would like some ideas on some things that you can do, please. Thank you. Please just contact me at DrDebra at DrDebraNonprofitSolutions.com. Again, that's DrDebra at DrDebraNonprofitSolutions.com. You can hit me up on Facebook, or you can text or call me. Hello, Dr. Beverly. Hello. Or you can call or text me. I may not be able to answer the phone all the time, but I will call you back. My number is 240-392-5838. And I would love to hear more about your vision. That's 240-392-5838. All right. Or just hit me up on Facebook. This was individuals from all over the world, not corporate. Right, Jimmy. That's what's so great about this. The one I raised too was just individuals from all over the world. I'm telling you, when people see you doing the work, interesting info. Thank you, Brenda Booker Bull. Thank you. Jimmy, that's the way I feel. That's the way to go. I've won awards for donor campaigns, but I also have gotten them for grants I've written too. But if you can get donors believing in your vision, and you got people around you that believe in your vision, and you can show your vision and that you believe in your vision, man, endless possibilities. I'm telling you. And I love it. I want to teach you. I want to teach you how to do it. I want to equip you with the right information so that you can get funding ready and become a profitable nonprofit. That way you can help even more people, and we can all be out here doing the work. Jesus said, when you do it unto these, the least of these, my brothers, you have done it unto me. Wow. Thank you for joining me. This has been a Nonprofit Nugget with Dr. Deborah, and I was just giving you a little something to chew on. Be blessed.